I got started investing because of this old lady right here. This is my grandmother. My grandmother, originally from Macon, Georgia, moved up to Boston in the 1950s, worked odd jobs here and there, and one of her friends encouraged her to buy a multifamily. It was more of a boarding house in the 1950s. And she did. For some reason, she was able to get talked into it. She bought it, and she did very well for herself. At the time, it was just rooms. She was living in one room, renting out the others. Over time, the neighborhood changed. If you're familiar with Boston, it is now known as the South End. She was a block away from what is now the Prudential Center. Wasn't there when she bought the building. And as the neighborhood started to change, she started to pay off the mortgage, increase the rents, get new tenants, and then discovered, the opportunity to buy other buildings. So she started buying other buildings in the South End as well. Did pretty well for herself. My grandfather was in the military, wasn't home, so I give a lot of credit to her for building up that portfolio that she did. When my parents came along, or should I say my father, this is my father's mother. My father wasn't interested in real estate, neither was my uncle. Disappointed my grandmother a lot because she really wanted to pass down a lot of the things that she had learned and the assets that she had accumulated to them. But they were involved in some other things. My father got mixed up into drugs. Never really wanted to be involved in the business, and the few times that he did get involved, took advantage of her. After that, we came along, my brothers, me and my two brothers. I think by the time, I think it was early 90s, we were, 10, 11, 12, very early in our years. And she was just getting tired. She was in her 60s, mid 60s, almost early 70s by then, and didn't want anything to do with the real estate at that point. Ended up selling off all her assets and living out the next 20 years or so before she passed on that, accumulation of funds that she had. So when I got out of school, one of the things that my grandmother used to always say to me, and it sticks with me every day, is if I was able to do what I was able to do on a sixth grade education, if I was able to make the money I was able to make and do the things that I was able to do, no high school, no college, you're going to have the benefit of these institutions, a high school education, a college education, know a lot more terminology and math than I do. Real estate is simple. If I'm able to do this, you should be able to do so much more. And that is something that always sticks with me as I'm, on this journey, on this path, on this wealth building path, on this legacy building path, just kind of her words. And I also share her words with a lot of other people that I'm coaching, mentoring, giving advice to as they go out and purchase their own homes. A lot of people, put cap rates and IRR and, all these different measures, which are great, but I mean, sometimes they overcomplicate things. And my grandmother, again, did not have the benefit of a college degree. Didn't never use the word cap rates or never used the term IRR or LTV. She kept it very, very simple. She always used to say, if my income exceeds my expenses, or if the money I'm bringing in exceeds the money that's going out, I'm doing pretty well for myself. And the goal was always just to make the money that's coming in a lot larger than the money that was going out. So increasing your rental income, reducing your expenses was the essence of her investing, and she just kept it really, really simple. So when I came along, she encouraged me to buy my first multifamily. I bought a 2-family in the Quincy right outside of Boston, and just kind of followed along, took some of her advice. And, I bought right before the crash in 2006, 2007 stock market crashed, 2008, housing market crashed. But through her advice and through, the lessons of people like Warren Buffett and some great investors, I was able to pick up some great assets in 2009, 2010, instead of running away from the market like most people were doing. Turned around and bought some really good investments between my wife and I, 2010, 11, 12, 13. Some of those assets have almost doubled today. And then just did exactly what my grandmother did, started pulling cash out of those existing assets and leveraging that property to go out and buy more. So I give a lot of credit to Josephine, so much so that my daughter is named after her as well. But this is the woman that I credit for, getting me into the business. And I try to take the lessons that she taught me and share them with anybody that I'm coaching or talking to throughout their wealth building journey as well.